Hello and welcome to Extra Time, a YouTube exclusive segment of the GamePitch podcast. I'm here with JD. What's up, pal?
Hey, how's it going, Eli? And how's it going, listeners? Happy to record. Happy to talk about some news.
Yeah, here's the stories that did not make our regular podcast. It drops Mondays on Apple and Spotify and Google, all that good stuff. So, JD, let's lightning round through the stories that did not make it in. What do we got, bud?
So first things first, there is a new Series X rumor for the next-gen Xbox that has kind of divided some people. Basically, the reports and the rumors are boiling down to the dashboard being close to the same thing that we have now on the Xbox One. And I think Microsoft's doing that to keep some parity between the two generations of console. I think that also bucks in contrast to what we've heard about the PS5, which is that their UI is going to be completely overhauled. And so some fans are disappointed that the new Xbox will have a similar interface to what they're used to. And I don't know why it matters.
Shut up, crybabies. You're not playing the UI, you're playing the games. Get out of here.
Exactly. It's like, oh no, boo, like it's going to look the exact same. And then you're in the game. Like, how often are you staring at the user interface? And if that's what you're doing, why are you even buying this? I don't understand.
Speaking of why are you even buying this, Battlefield 3 is rumored to be getting a remaster. Why? I don't know.
Same.
It's just, I can't even, I've played Battlefield, I can't even remember 3 being like noteworthy.
Good enough to get a remaster, like in any way. Yeah.
It's not like it's Modern Warfare or something. It's not like Soap McTarvish and like the freaking Ferris wheel in Russia. That's not what it is. It's just Battlefield 3. I don't get it. Let's move on.
Yeah, it feels like a very weird game to remaster, but whatever. Speaking of super weird games, it is now officially a thing that doctors can prescribe a video game as a medication for ADHD. So there is a new game called Endeavor RX, which is out now and apparently has some pretty interesting properties of gameplay that help calm symptoms of ADHD. And this is weird, dude. The future is so weird. Like 2020 was already an extremely bad and weird year, and it's just getting even weirder.
I would say that I'm interested in other applications, like not just to cure ADHD or to help with that, but other things like, like if you can't get to sleep, what is that, narcolepsy or is it night?
Yep.
I don't know. What? Yeah. So if you're narcoleptic, all you got to do is put on Anthem because it's so boring and empty. You'll fall right asleep. Self-burn.
Nailed it. Coming up soon, if you have an eating disorder, you can play our upcoming game for Google Stadia called Winter is Coming, about a fat squirrel. Moving on, stories about the Avengers.
Thank you for that. You're the best, JD. I'm over here. I was like covering my mouth because I was laughing because I didn't want to laugh too loud. Man, this is like one of those things. It's just like you're bad. Why? And you gotta be worried because there was an Avengers Twitter tweet that came from the Crystal Dynamics account or the Avengers game account, and it was essentially talking about a defaced statue of Captain America in light of the current environment. And this was like and it's not like it was like today. It was like it was the days when all the statues were being right when all the statues are being like thrown into rivers and like destroyed, and Christopher Columbus is getting beheaded. Which, do what you got to do, guys. I'm with you. I mean, Chris Columbus is not my homie. Like, we do not ride together.
This is all extremely tone deaf, and it's a classic example of why you never schedule content.
Mm-hmm.
You can't schedule marketing tweets this far in advance because the timing of this was so terrible, and it has absolutely bit them in the ass, I feel like.
Right in the booty. Our next story I added because I thought it was about Minecraft Dungeons, the game that I recently beat and was playing, and I thought that this was an update for that game, but then I realized that I had jacked up and messed up.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's about the Minecraft, the core game. It's getting a new update called the Nether update, which is adding a bunch of stuff. But what it's really adding that I think players will enjoy trying to mine and find in the game is netherite, which is a new material that is stronger than diamond, which is the current strongest material in the game. It's also adding a new enemy type called piglins, which apparently will just wreck your shit, according to the game director and the official Twitter account. They will absolutely tear you up.
You look at Minecraft and you don't expect it to be the game that'll F your shit up, which is like really, it's just, I'm blown away.
Let's talk about Rockstar and Red Dead Online.
When I read this story, I was just like, who's the person that wants to hack Red Dead Online to have the KKK appear? Like, how was that even, who's the person with the coding knowledge or with the online skills, the abilities, and just like, you know what? Let me add Red Dead Online, pretty good, but you know what? I think it's sparsely included. The KKK,
The
they need
racist.
let's get all the racists in here.
The core of this is that the KKK appears in the main campaign for Red Dead 2, and you go kill them, which that part rules. But because the character model exists, people have been able to take that character model and put it into Red Dead Online and are hacking it into the game. Rockstar, thankfully, very swiftly made an update to the game that just basically nuked this game data from the code. So those character models are gone. Everything's gone, which then makes me wonder what the implications will be to the single player game. Like, what is spawning? What's changing? Ultimately, I think that was the right move, though, to just delete all of it versus running the risk of like waiting to find a way to patch something better in. That can come later. The damage for having literal KKK members spawning in your online servers is far more extreme, in my opinion.
So good job by them and quick, swift action. Like, excellent stuff.
Yeah.
Like, actually, our next story did not have quick, swift action. It had a lot of confusion, a lot of bumbling online, but we do have some more details.
Yeah, so let's talk about Spider-Man, Miles Morales, what we first saw in the PS5 event, and then got very little detail. We got a logo. We got a really quick glimpse at Miles. Looked awesome. The suit looked great. And that was it. They didn't really tell us a launch timeline necessarily. They didn't really give us any details of what this game would be. Was it Spider-Man 2? Was it not Spider-Man 2? What is this? And finally now we're getting some more details. It's more in the vein, which Eli, you have very accurately predicted, that it was going to be kind of more like an Uncharted Lost Legacy style game where it's not really a full game in terms of like a full sequel, but it's kind of like this episodic content almost. And so Insomniac is saying that we will get a quote unquote full story arc for Miles in this standalone game. But it probably will not be, a 40-hour campaign. It's probably going to be what, 10 or 15, you think?
Oh, I would say there's no way it's above 6 to 8.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
that's my guess. I mean, if you played Lost Legacy, because Lost Legacy is, I'll have to, I don't even think Lost Legacy is 6 or 8 hours. I can't remember. I'll have to think on it again. It's short though. It's short. It's not that it's not good. It's just that it's short. There's a lot with this because I feel like they released a lot of the Horizon Zero Dawn information early,
a lot.
like when it's coming and like just like to get more hype to kind of push focus away from some of the sad stuff with Miles, because they talked a little bit about how it's a year after the events of the original Spider-Man game.
Yep.
How Miles lives in Harlem, but it's like, here's these details to placate you, but they still are not responding to the question when people say, is it on PS4? Like, Kotaku's reached out, IGN's reached out, and they're not responding to the question. What you would speculate why they're not answering is because fans aren't going to like the answer. And
I think it's got to come. I don't know. We've gone back and forth on this a lot. Is it going to be on only PS5? And the more that Sony fumbles, I feel like this has to be PS4 too. And it's why they haven't explicitly said this is going to be PS5 only. Like, they didn't hesitate doing that with Horizon. They didn't hesitate to say this is a PS5 game. And I feel like because they haven't said that with Miles Morales, it's coming to both. And so, yeah. Well, I guess we'll see. I don't know.
Would put my money on it being on both. By far, definitely. That's my guess.
You and me both. And I think that brings us to the end of Extra Time.
Thanks for listening to Extra Time. You can find us exclusively on YouTube. Of course, if you found this, you know it's on YouTube. But this living exclusively here. This is a portion or a part of our weekly podcast, the GamePitch podcast, that appears on multiple places: Spotify, Apple, Google. But thank you so much for listening. And this is we love games. It's just a fact.
We do love games. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you will jump on and listen to the whole pod as well. Have a great week.